Hey guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to fix a Beats Solo, or Beats Studio actually, 2.0 headband. Um, as you can see, this one's broken on both sides, so it doesn't really matter obviously either way if it's broken on one or two. The thing is really irreparable and you're going to have to buy a new headband. So I got a new one right over here, and this is what I'm going to be replacing with. So, um, so there that is. So the first thing you're going to do, I mean for this one especially, you're going to just take this piece off. That might not be the case if one of your sides isn't broken off, because you might do some damage to these little things right here. But it's really not too big of a worry because those really don't do a whole lot to I don't know, keep your rubber cushion on. It's really these clips. So I'm just going to take that thing off right away. And as you saw there, this thing just came right off. It might not happen again if one of the sides is still stuck onto here. So right now all I'm going to do is find these two screws at the bottom of this clip here, and I'm going to unscrew them. And it looks like it's a Torx, that's a T5 there. So that is a little bit of a specialty screwdriver. I do have replacement headbands on my website. If you do need a Torx screwdriver, I can include one for free. Just let me know in the order notes, and or just send me an email, and I'll make sure to include that in your order. Alright, so I guess I got a T6. Alright, I got my T5 here, and now I'm just going to unscrew these. And be careful not to strip these, because if you do, that's gonna really be hard to take these out, I guess, because you're gonna need to get like probably a power drill and one of those tips that takes out strip screws, and you could do some damage to this, mainly this metal piece right here. So obviously be aware of that. Don't push too hard when you're trying to get these screws out, because they actually are, compared to some of the other ones like Beats Pro, they're relatively hard to strip. So you should be okay on that, but I just wanted to let you guys be aware of it. So it's kind of tough on the ends that are broken off to actually like get these screws out once you loosen them, because there's usually just pieces of headband that's still in here. So I just take like a flathead screwdriver and try to just pry it out the best I can, because obviously you're going to want to take out as much as you can so you can fit in your new headband. So there we go, I got that piece out there, so that's good. I'm actually going to just leave that screw in there if it doesn't fall out, because I'm going to have to put it back in anyways later to put on my new headband. So another question you guys might have is like, how do you know when this piece is loosened? You don't really know exactly, I guess, because like it doesn't just fall out, and that's just due to just not enough like force from having it broken off like this. So I just kind of unscrew a little bit, see if this piece is ready to come out or not, and then if not, just unscrew some more. So it's just kind of a trial and error kind of thing. But yeah, luckily these pieces came out pretty good. If you guys like super glue the headband together for try to like a temporary fix, that makes it significantly harder to get these things out. I've repaired quite a few of these where people have done that, and that's a huge pain, and you might need to just replace this whole piece right here, this whole hinge, which is a pretty big repair because that has to do with taking this wire out and everything. So I would not recommend super gluing. There is some videos online saying, "Oh, super glue your headband back together." And I'm not saying, "Oh yeah, you should just go out and get a replacement," because that's what that's like a replacement part costs. But it's really just it never really works out that well. I would say on these studios, it probably works out even worse than, like, let's say the solos, just because these are a little bit heavier, because there's more stuff in here than just the regular solo beats. And I see it all the time that people just say, "Oh yeah, I tried super gluing this together and it broke off again." And so just just a word of advice, I guess. So there we go. Got that one out too. I think the other one, yeah, they both stayed in there. So there's only one screw that actually came out. They might come out more when I actually put in this replacement. So just letting you know where they are right now, because I usually say in all my videos to keep all your screws in a nice place. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your replacement and make sure that your headphones are facing you the right way, so like left to right. And the reason why that is because then you can line up, okay, is the Beats logo going to be, it should always be, facing, like if you're looking at it the left to the right way like you'd have them on, you should always see this Beats logo like this. So make sure it's facing upwards. It doesn't really matter because it's going to fit either way. It just kind of cosmetically looks a little bit better because that's obviously how it is factory. So yeah, you're just going to want to push it back in here. I'm just going to make sure I don't have any other pieces that could be causing, I don't think I do. Is that in the way? Oh, that's why. Yeah, the screw's getting stuck in here. And there it goes. So I figured that was going to happen, but obviously not a huge deal. Just pop that thing back in there and then screw this thing back on. I guess another word of advice. You might want to put this thing on too before you're screwing this thing together, because as this tightens, it's going to be harder to push these little things in here. But for this demonstration, I'm not going to worry too much about that. It's just, like, again, it's just kind of a trial and error. You might need to loosen these things up a little bit and push this down and just kind of work with it a little bit. So now I'm going to go with this other side here. Sorry. All right. That looks pretty good. And just kind of pull on it, make sure it's tight, And I guess you'll know if it just falls out on you. But yeah, so now I'm going to kind of work on the other side here. I am actually going to push this thing on here first, just because I got one of my ends in already. So I'll just show you quick that I do like to do this with one end, push this on, and then I'll usually go back to the other end and loosen that piece up, and then go, do the same thing. Oh yeah, and another thing too, this rubber cushion here, it has this little crack in the middle, so you're going to want to try to push that wire overhead of that. And I did have a couple issues out with this when I first started fixing this model, because I was like, I don't know why this rubber piece isn't going on. and I realized that there's actually there's that crack there that's actually their factory, and it's made just for that reason, to go around that wire. So yeah, so this looks pretty good. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and take my Torx and screw this thing back on. So as you can see, this is a pretty simple repair. There's only 4 screws, and you know, there's no soldering involved or anything like that. You don't need to worry about this wire or anything. So as far as repair goes, this is definitely on the easy end of things. For things like no power, those are really hard to debug with Beat Studio, just because it's not as simple as just like a wire running through a cord. There's, you know, noise canceling. There's a lot of actual, you know, there's boards that could get damaged, and it's kind of tough to debug that just from, you know, a small, like somebody who's just fixing one pair, let's say. So that's why I'd say this is something that you can definitely do at home. I probably won't show this last part here, just kind of pushing these things back in, because I already showed that on the other part. But other than that, as you can see, these things are pretty much good to go. Just need to tighten this thing up a little bit, and yeah, now you got a nice fixed pair of Beats Studio, and you can get back to your music. If you have any questions, comments, you know, let me know. I will get back to you as soon as I can, and thanks for watching.